Your Excellency, Senor Francisco Garcia Cabeza de Vaca, the Governor of Tamaulipas, and who I consider a good friend and a wonderful and inspirational leader for the state. My good friend, Senor Gilberto Estrella, Secretario de Medio Ambiente, and my good friend, Senor Hector Escobar, Secretario de Educación. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a great privilege for me to send you this brief video message, particularly in the presence of His Excellency the Governor. I would like to congratulate His Excellency the Governor and the Secretary of the Environment for this remarkable step which has been taken in Congress for initiating a climate change law. I think this is an extremely visionary step and something which has significance not only for the state of Tamaulipas, but for the world as a whole. I'm absolutely delighted that this is being done, and it is my privilege to have spent time in the state of Tamaulipas and to have seen all the remarkable achievements which are in hand. I would look forward to the opportunity of being associated with some of these initiatives in the future. Let me tell you that climate change is certainly the largest and the most serious challenge that we are facing globally. And I think the state of Tamaulipas can really set an example by ensuring that it becomes a model for the rest of the world, and particularly for your neighborhood, the United States of America. Climate change is not merely just an increase in temperature or a steady warming of the planet. It is accompanied by a whole range of impacts which are extremely harmful not only for human society but all forms of life. Climate change is associated with extreme events such as heat waves, extreme precipitation events, extreme events related to sea level rise, and I would say, unfortunately, there is another extreme event that you would have to deal with, and that is the election of Donald Trump as the President of the United States. Fortunately, that extreme event will probably not last beyond 4 years and maybe less than 4 years. But it's something that you have to deal with. And I'm sure the best way for dealing with it is to see that you show your responsibility to this planet and move on and become a model for the whole world. Now, I want to say that I have been in the field of climate change for 30 years now, and 13 years was spent in my position as chairman of the IPCC. And at the end of that, I was convinced that the only way to deal with climate change is to ensure that the youth of the world are engaged and are taking action to deal with this serious problem, which clearly jeopardizes their future. And if the youth have to take the future into their hands, and if they have to assume leadership, then clearly we need to involve them across the globe. There are 1.8 billion children and youth across the globe between the ages of 10 and 24, and they have to assume leadership. I'm really happy to see that Secretary Escobar has responded to my request to see that the state of Tamaulipas launches the POP movement, which stands for Protect Our Planet. This is something that I launched, may I say, in Mexico as the first country, because I believe Mexico has all the potential for becoming a major leader in the field of climate change by taking action in respect of mitigation as well as adapting to the impacts of climate change. And I hope that with the governor's blessings and with the Secretary of the Education taking the initiative, we will be able to cover the 5,000 plus schools in the state of Tamaulipas and make them centers of knowledge, education and action in the field of climate change. One of the initiatives that I know is in hand is to see that the energy bills of all these schools are reduced, because that gives you a win-win outcome. It gives you a solution that benefits the state government, it benefits the children because they learn by doing, and it certainly benefits this planet because you will be reducing the emissions of greenhouse gases. And I think all the schools in Tamaulipas can do that. We can plant trees, we can make sure that we adapt to the impacts of climate change, manage our water resources much better by, let's say, water harvesting in every school. And there are lots of things that are being done and can be done. And I must say that I'm very impressed with Senora Nahid Ayala for all that she is doing and the initiatives that she has been taking with the support and the involvement of the Secretary Education. Now, what I would also like to say is that the state of Tamaulipas can become a leader in the harnessing of renewable energy. I want to tell you that in India recently there were bids for 750 megawatt and 250 megawatt facilities using photovoltaics. And the bids that were received are in the range of about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, can you imagine? That's a price, that's a cost which is much lower than what it would cost to produce electricity using fossil fuels, as has been done conventionally. And therefore, I would submit for the consideration of the governor that what we should do is to see that Tamaulipas becomes a supplier of renewable energy. You have excellent insolation, that means solar energy falling on the surface. You have very good wind speeds, and you have large areas of land which perhaps can be used productively for energy production. And if that was to be done, then clearly you can supply electricity not only to other states in Mexico, but I would say also perhaps to the United States of America. If the President of the US sets up a wall, then I think all you need to do is to get some technology for creating tunnels or maybe drilling a hole through the wall so that a cable supplying renewable energy to the United States can make a major statement that you cannot divide this planet into selfish and narrow regions which will not serve the purpose of either this generation or generations yet to come. So I want to compliment you once again, and I'm delighted that I've been given this opportunity to say a few words to you. I'd like to congratulate His Excellency the Governor and the Secretary of the Environment for the steps that they have taken and the steps that are being taken. And I want to express my hope and convey my compliments to the Secretary Education so that hand in hand we can implement the POP movement, Protect Our Planet, involving all the students in Tamaulipas, not only in the schools, but also in the colleges and universities. And you would then become a shining example for the whole world to show the way how youth can lead and how youth can take the future and their destiny into their own hands. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.